a lot of folks have been asking questions like, how do we offer support to families, and what does that look like? And we have an opportunity to just talk about the Resiliency Project. And although we kind of know how it works on this side of things, it's always good to hear how it really feels on the other side of things, being a participant and being a family, or, being someone who is affected by it. And also, we took the Caring Conversations group agreements that we made on the call, those rules, and really that's the spirit of how we're going to share everything. And as the group agreements and the Caring Conversations and everything, it's owned by the group, right? So it's not like we own it at the Alliance. You guys own it, and you change it. You set your own agreements for how everything's going to go. And so who better to share their story than you guys, because it is all the work is made and done by you and inspired by you. And Martha and I particularly have been really inspired by your contribution on the Caring Conversations. We've watched you grow and be vulnerable and share a lot of things. And so we thought that these particular questions for you just kind of fit perfect.
And we're really glad that you volunteered to do that. That especially just kind of made me really happy that you did that. So
yeah, thank you. I'm already emotional, I think, about sharing this, because it's really this ended up being a really layered situation for me. And it wasn't until last night when I was thinking about well, how am I going to share this, that I really that it really came to light what this has done for me. So a little bit of back history. I moved back to Washington after being away from my children, even in later years, before my child welfare experience, and had to still work on myself. And so I'd finally done enough of that to a place where I thought I could be stable again. And so I had just recently moved back to Washington before COVID. And by my background check, I got led back into the work because I was denied being a cook at a nursing home. And so I ended up reaching out to my local parent allies in Washington and one of the counties here, and started volunteering, and started being re-involved in the work. And COVID happened a couple months later. And one of the things that I had, there's addiction issues, but then I also have chronic health issues. And when I moved back to Washington, here to have some medical, you have to work, I made just a little bit too much. And so when COVID happened and the parent ally work I did here came down to a halt, and then it even had stopped because the supervisor had moved on. And so I started being responsible for a bulk of my medical bills. And I was feeling disconnected, and I had been getting emails for Caring Conversation for a little bit before I had started to join. And so finally I was like, okay, I'm going to see what this is all about. And this actually, one of the things that really came to mind last night about this was community. During the pandemic, we needed a virtual community to stay connected, to not feel alone, to understand the struggles, to see that we're all in this together. And so this became actually a bigger piece. This became my community, being new to where I'm living, to speaking the language of that of the passion, the goals, the generational change through understanding our strengths and things like that. So this really became really important to me, and I don't think I realized that until last night. the impact it's had on my life this past year. So and when I had been given a touch point parent, I that helped with some medical bills, and I didn't realize how much weight and muscle I was just carrying until I thought I could get back in the swing of things, that the pandemic would eventually end. And when I felt that weight being lifted, to not feel shame to need help. Also was a really big impact to me. And then my touch point parent really having a conversation with me and giving me suggestions how to show up in conversations that I necessarily don't have with the, unlearning systemic racism and things like that. Can I mention who my touch point parent was? Is that okay? Sandra Killett was my touch point parent in New York, and she just really took her time and really just shared with me how to show up, how to listen, that in the beginning, you don't always need something to say, but to hear people's experiences, and then how I perceive that is, in doing that, I'm not denying an experience, that person has a safe, all people have the safe space to share what their experience was. And that really had a significant impact on me. When with the strength-based parenting, I was actually a little blown away by the strengths. My top 3 are restorative, responsibility, and connection. And when I was away from my children the past 5 years, I can relate it to like an eat, love, pray time. I was no family, just really digging deep, like what was wrong with me, why I couldn't stay clean and be a part of my children's life. So those top 3 are like what I worked on. So kind of let me know that my time away from my children wasn't like for no reason or in vain, or however you want to say that. And then my last 2 was achiever and adaptability. Yes, and the achiever was actually is what kept me sick. I was always raising my hand at people pleasing and things like that. So it didn't surprise me. It was in my top 5, and I was really grateful as more towards the bottom because it was what I was working on to overcome. And then adaptability is my newest core value that I really spent time on learning and knowing. And so seeing that in there also showed that I've been able to maintain and stay present for my children since being back. Getting the book for my daughter, and she's a mom. I have 2 grandchildren, and one of her top strengths was harmony, and so I'm able to change my approach with her and connect with her differently, understanding that, because I can tend to be abrasive or direct or things like that. And so I'm more mindful with her. I haven't been able to do this with my 2 sons. They're just, it's not their thing. Like it's my youngest son, he'll be becoming a father soon, so maybe it will change. I can do it with him once he has that paternal father energy kicks in. So I'm hoping that this can be something I bond with him with too. So, and this also understands like focusing on my work, and also just on my internal, it aligns with the core values I've been working on, and what I guess stand for and believe in. And my 3 top core values are gratitude, discipline, and kindness. And so I'm always doing my best to be accountable to those 3 things every day. And so the Strength Finder helps me see how I can apply those. And so that's, I'm not sure what else.
So my top strength is empathy.
Okay.
And so as you tell me your story, I can feel it. And I'm so inspired by you. And I really admire your resilience and that eat, pray, love. I can so totally resonate with that. The strength finder work is so um life changing, right?
Yeah, it is life changing. It's that whole connection thing. Like I had a community in California where um, we worked on these things intentionally. And when I moved here, I left that community, and then moving to a rural area with a population of 800. And like, I don't know how else I would have continued growing in the work, the internal work I done. And then I found carrying conversation. And so I didn't, it kept me accountable to the process of that. And so like I just honestly didn't connect everything, like all of that until just right now. Yeah, it's kept the memento going. So
It's so, I can't even describe what it feels like to hear you tell your story, because it's really hard to know what kind of a impact that this work makes on people. We go to meetings all day long every day, and sometimes it gets pretty mundane, and we try to keep our passion alive for the things that we really want to work hard at. And just to know that that this 1 hour every week, it being timed as it was at the time when so many people were confused about what's going on in the world, what's happening. And like you said, you moved to a new place, and I know what that feels like, moving into a new town and not knowing anyone. And then all of a sudden the pandemic happens. That cuts off all of your social connections. And just, thank you so much just for being so honest and straightforward. It means a lot. It means a lot to us. Uh, I don't think you can know how much it really means to us. So we're thankful and we're grateful that you're part of it, and that you bring that to the conversation every week, and your thoughtful comments and advice and insights. I always look forward to hearing what you have to say, because you've obviously worked very hard at at finding all those characteristics in your own self, and it really shows, Teresa. It does. And I know that you may feel you have ground to make up for, but I think you have certainly, it sets a model, I think, for all of us to know that we need to work harder at those same things. So thank you so much.
thank you.
And I can definitely see all of your top strengths as you tell your story, especially, the restorative and, that achiever. It can get you sometimes. I have that too.
So do I. So do I.
Martha, so in some instances, it is the greatest strength, and sometimes it's a little devil, it keeps you going, and sometimes it wears you out, right? Because you have that striving to achieve.
Yeah, I have to be extremely intentional not to raise my hand for everything. Like, even though I want to, or it's,
You don't want to be that
yeah,
person.
I cannot. Like, this time I'm not going to. Like,
I totally get it.